heard my name said wrong from somewhere that knew me. I didn't turn around. That's the first thing that still bothers me. It's not fear, not logic, just hesitation. Because when someone says your name, your body reacts before you decide to. Kay, the voice came again. Closer this time. Same word. Same wrong tone. Like someone had learned how to say it, but not why. I remember holding my breath without realizing it. Not slowly, not intentionally, just stopped. There was another sound underneath the voice. Soft, rhythmic. At the time, I thought it was wind. That was mistake number one. I was staying at my cousin's place, far outside town. Not remote enough to feel dangerous, just quiet enough to feel unfinished. The house had one of those long hallways that make sound travel too well. Every step echoes longer than it should. I had been alone all evening. I was sure of that. I had checked twice. The first unsettling thing happened before the voice. I didn't understand it. Then, the back door wasn't locked anymore. I knew I locked it. I always do. Even when I'm home alone. At the time, it didn't scare me. I remember thinking, maybe I hadn't pushed it all the way. Maybe the latch was loose. That explanation felt good enough. Too good. I locked it again and walked away. That's when I heard my name. The second thing happened almost immediately after. I took one step toward the hallway, and something else took a step too, not toward me, beside me, close enough that I felt air move on my arm. I froze, not in a dramatic way, more like my body forgot how to continue. The floor creaked once, then nothing. I stood there long enough that my legs started to ache. That's when I realized the house felt smaller, not visually, not physically, just closer, like the space between rooms had shortened. I don't know how else to explain it. I finally spoke, just one word. Hello? It came out dry, cracked. The response was immediate to immediate. Hey, same word I'd used. Same timing, different voice, not deeper, not distorted, just off, like someone repeating a sentence they didn't understand. I wish I had run then, instead. I laughed, a fake one, the kind you use when you're embarrassed for being scared. That was mistake number two. I started walking down the hallway, slow, deliberate. Each step felt like I was interrupting something. Halfway down, I noticed something small. The mirror at the end of the hall. It wasn't showing me, not fully. My shoulder was missing. I stopped, leaning slightly. I adjusted my angle. Still wrong. That's when I realized the reflection was lagging. Not by much, just enough to notice. I raised my hand. The reflection followed. Late. I lowered it. Same delay. My stomach dropped in a way that didn't feel emotional, more physical, like my body recognized something before my mind did. Behind me something. I exhaled. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. My jaw locked so hard, my teeth hurt. The breath was warm too. Warm, and it smelled like outside. Dirt, leaves, something old. The voice came again, right behind my ear, using my voice, this time perfectly. Don't freak out. That sentence ruined something in me, because I hadn't said it out loud. I had only thought it earlier. I oohed, not fast, not slow, sideways, toward the nearest room. As soon as I crossed the doorway, the pressure lifted, the warmth vanished. I shut the door and locked it. Then I slid down against it. My hands were shaking so badly, I had to sit on them. That's when the scratching started. Not aggressive, not frantic, measured, like fingers counting time. I waited for it to stop. It didn't change. Knocking. 3 taps, tops, pause, 3 taps, 3 taps. I don't know why. Quit, I answered. What do you want? The response came instantly. I need help. My chest tightened, not because of fear, because the voice sounded strained, like it was trying to hold something together. "I'm hurt," said, using my voice again. That was mistake number 3. I unlocked the door. I didn't open it, just unlocked it. I don't know why that mattered to me, but it felt like a compromise. The scratching stopped immediately. Silence rushed in, heavy, pressing, then dash. Footsteps, walking away, slow. UNBOTHERED. I stayed there all night. Didn't sleep, didn't move. When the sun finally came up, I opened the door. The hallway looked normal. The mirror reflected me correctly. The back door was open wide. The lock wasn't broken. There were footprints leading away, free from the house. Bare, too long. The heel shape was wrong. I didn't follow them. I packed my things and left. I never told my cousin why. Here's the part I don't tell people. On the drive back, my phone rang. Unknown number. I ignored it. It rang again. Voicemail. I listened to it later. It was my voice, breathing, then whispering, "Why did you stop helping me?" I still check mirrors longer than I should. Still lock doors twice. And sometimes, when I say my own name out loud, doesn't feel like it belongs to me anymore. Something outside copied my footsteps before I took them. I stopped walking, not because I was scared, because the sound didn't stop. One more step, then another, perfectly timed, too perfect. I stood there, mid-step, waiting for it to correct itself. It didn't. That's when I realized the steps weren't following me. They were predicting me. This happened 2 winters ago, cold enough that sound carries farther than it should. I was driving home late and pulled off the road to use the restroom. Middle of nowhere, no buildings, just trees and snow. I remember thinking it felt too quiet, not peaceful, empty. I left the engine running. I don't know why I noticed that detail. It didn't feel important at the time. That's usually how these things start. The first unsettling thing happened before I even stepped away from the car. My headlights flickered, just once, long enough to notice, not long enough to panic. Then they stabilized. At the time, I blamed the cold. That explanation was easy, comfortable. I stepped out. The snow was deeper than I expected. Each step made a sharp, hollow crunch. I counted them without meaning to. 1, 2, 3. Then another crunch. Behind me, same rhythm, same depth. I froze. The air felt heavier when I stopped moving. It's like I'd pressed pause on something mid-action. I turned slowly. Nothing, just darkness between the trees. I told myself it was an echo. That was lie number 1. I took another step, crunched immediately, followed by another dot. Closer, this time, not behind me anymore. Off to my left. I felt my throat tighten. Not panic, recognition, the kind that hits before fear. I stopped again. The sound stopped too. That's when my breath caught in my chest. Because echoes don't wait for permission, I whispered. "Hello?" My voice disappeared too fast. The woods didn't respond. Instead, something shifted. A subtle movement, like weight redistributing, snow compressing. I stared into the darkness, forcing my eyes to adjust. I thought I saw a shape. Tall, wrongly tall. But when I blinked, it was gone. I laughed quietly. I don't know who I was trying to convince. I turned back toward my car. That's when the second unsettling thing happened. The driver's side door was open. I was sure I'd closed it. Sure enough that my stomach dropped before my mind caught up. The interior light was on, casting just enough glow to show the snow near the car. There were footprints, mine and another set, bare, long, uneven, standing right where I had just been facing, as if something had stood there, watching me look away. I didn't move, couldn't. My legs felt disconnected. That's when the sound came again. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, circling. I held my breath. The cold burned my lungs. The steps stopped directly behind me, close enough that I felt warmth, not body heat, something damp, breathing. Then dashed my voice. "Don't turn around." It said it calmly, gently, like advice. That sentence broke something inside. Because I hadn't spoken since whispering earlier, and because it sounded tired. Hey, did turn around. That's the part people get stuck on. They think it's brave or stupid. It wasn't either. It felt expected. There was someone standing there, sort of. It had my outline, my height, my jacket, but everything about it slightly misaligned. Shoulders sloped too much. Arms hung too long. Its face I don't like remembering the face. Not because it was monstrous, because it wasn't finished. Like someone had stopped halfway through copying it. Its eyes blinked at different times. When it spoke again, its mouth barely moved. "Why did you stop?" I backed up, slow. It matched me perfectly, step for step. I noticed then that its feet weren't touching the snow the same way. No compression, no sound, just the idea of footsteps. I reached the car. My hand fumbled for the door. The thing tilted its head, mirroring me. I was almost there. It said, still using my voice, but something underneath it now. Strain, like pressure behind the words. I slammed the door shut and locked it. The engine was still running. The heater blasted air that felt unreal against my skin. I sat there, shaking, staring straight ahead. The thing didn't move, just stood in the headlights, watching. I noticed then that it wasn't blinking anymore. Its reflection didn't appear on the hood at the time. I didn't understand why that mattered. I do now. It took a step forward, then stopped, like it had hit an invisible boundary. Its expression changed, not anger, confusion. It raised a hand, pressed it against the air, like glass. "That's not fair," it said. My stomach twisted, because it sounded hurt. I did everything right. The headlights flickered again, longer this time. When they stabilized, it was closer, too close. Its face nearly touching the windshield. I could see imperfections. Now, skin stretched where it shouldn't be. Lines that didn't match muscle. Its breath fogged the glass. Letters appeared in the condensation. Not words, just shapes. Practice, like it was learning. I screamed. Finally, the sound came out broken. The thing flinched, just slightly, enough to tell me it hadn't expected that. I threw the car into reverse. The tires spun. Snow sprayed. For a second, the world felt unreal. Then I was moving. The thing stayed where it was. Watching its mouth moved one last time. God couldn't hear it over the engine, but I knew what it said, because my phone buzzed in my pocket. A text message from my own number. It read, "Tama, next time, don't stop." I didn't stop driving until morning. Didn't check mirrors. Didn't answer calls. When I finally reached home, I sat in my driveway for a long time. My reflection in the rear view mirror looked normal. Mostly, I went inside, locked the door, checked every room, nothing. I tried to sleep. I couldn't. Around 3 a.m., I heard footsteps outside my bedroom window, crunching. Snow, slow, measured, stopping, starting, practicing. Then my phone vibrated again. Another message, same number, just one sentence. "I almost had your walk right. I moved the next week. Different town, different routines. I don't pull over anymore. Not for restrooms, not for emergencies, not for anyone. And sometimes, when I'm walking alone, I change my pace suddenly, just to make sure nothing is still trying to learn me." I knew something was wrong because it didn't follow me. That thought didn't hit immediately at first. I felt relief, real relief. The kind that loosens your chest and makes your hands stop shaking. I remember thinking, whatever that was, I stayed there. That belief lasted exactly 12 minutes. I worked night shifts, always have your sense of normal changes when most of your life happens after midnight. Empty roads don't feel threatening anymore. Silence becomes background noise. That night, I was driving home on a route I'd taken hundreds of times. No music. Windows cracked. I like hearing the engine. It helps me feel grounded. The first unsettling thing happened at a stoplight. I was alone. At the intersection, red light. No cross traffic, no pedestrians, just me and the hum of the car. Then someone knocked on my passenger window, once firm, right where knuckle would land. I didn't look. That's important. I didn't even flinch, because my brain rejected the idea before fear could form. Nobody stands there. Not on that road, okay? Not at that hour. The light turned green. I drove a block later. I laughed out loud at myself. Adrenaline does that till it looks for somewhere to go. I told myself it was a branch or debris kicked up by wind. Something random, something explainable. At the time, it didn't scare me. That's how I know it mattered. The second unsettling thing happened. 3 minutes later, my passenger seatbelt warning chimed. That sharp, repetitive ding. The seat was empty. I glanced over. Nothing there. I buckled it anyway, just to make the sound stop. As soon as the click locked in, the sound of breathing filled the car. Not loud, not panicked. Slow, controlled. Too close. I froze mid-motion. One hand still on the wheel. My lungs stalled. I counted the breaths without meaning. 2.1. 2. Then a third that didn't belong to me. I whispered, "Hello?" The breathing stopped, not gradually, instantly, like a switch. I didn't move, didn't look. I stared straight ahead as the road lights passed. That's when I felt the pressure. Not a hand, not weight, just a presence. Something occupying the space beside me without touching it. My skin prickled. The urge to check was overwhelming. I didn't. That decision might be the only reason I'm still unsure what happened. I pulled into my apartment complex. 10 minutes later, normal, lit, familiar. I parked, turned off the engine. Silence rushed in, so fast it felt artificial. I finally looked at the passenger seat. Empty. No indent. No warmth. Nothing. I exhaled, hard, shaky. That single quotes is. When the thought came, it didn't follow me home. And for a moment, that felt like a win. I slept badly. Woke up with my jaw sore from clenching. Dreamt of someone sitting beside me, never turning their head. Morning light made everything feel smaller, manageable. I went about my day. Work, errands, normal life, smoothing over the edges of the night, until I noticed something small. My passenger seatbelt was still buckled. I don't remember rebuckling it. I unclicked it. The sound echoed longer than it should have. That evening, I checked my phone. I had a missed call from my own number. No voicemail, no timestamp. That made sense. I deleted it. I shouldn't have, because later, I couldn't remember if I actually had. The third unsettling thing happened the next night. I was driving again, same route, same hour. I told myself I was being brave. Truth is, I wanted to prove something. The road looked the same. The intersection approached. The light turned red. I stopped, hands steady, breathing controlled. Nothing knocked. Nothing moved. The light stayed red longer than usual. Then reflection appeared in my passenger window. Not outside, inside, faint. Just enough to notice a shape where a head would be. Facing forward, I didn't turn. I didn't even blink. The reflection smiled. My phone vibrated. A text message from an unsaved number. One sentence. You left too early. My stomach sank, because I knew deep down I hadn't. The light turned green. I drove faster than I should have. Every instinct screamed to get home, to safety. to walls and locks and light. The reflection stayed, sometimes fading, sometimes sharper, never fully gone. I spoke without thinking. I don't understand what you want. The reflection tilted, not its head. The idea of its head. You changed, it said, not out loud, inside the car. Inside me, I pulled over hard tires, screeching. I don't know why. Maybe I thought stopping would reset something. I sat there, shaking. The reflection vanished. The air felt empty again. That's when I noticed. There were fingerprints on the inside of the glass, smudged, placed. It's too high. I stared at them until my eyes burned. Then I wiped them away with my sleeve. The fabric came back damp, warm. I didn't drive for 3 days after that. Called in sick, ordered food, avoided mirrors. On the 4th night, I heard my car door close. Outside, soft, careful. I watched from my window. The car sat empty, unmoved, but the passenger seatbelt light was on. Here's the part I can't explain. The part I don't tell people unless I trust them. Sometimes, when I'm sitting still, not driving, not moving, I feel it beside me again, not following, not watching, waiting, like it learned something from me, like taught it when to stay. I still drive. I have to, but I never buckle the passenger seatbelt anymore. And if I hear breathing, I don't check, because whatever that thing was didn't follow me home. It already knew the way.